So when I was uploading Children of Earth, my thoughts on video for Children of Earth, someone had reminded me in the comments that I'd completely forgotten about the Q&A video that I'd promised. Whoops-a-day. But yeah, here it is, guys. So a Q&A to celebrate me hitting 3.5k subscribers on the Little Owl VA channel. First off, goes without saying, thank you all so much for your love and support over the past, how long's it been? 4 years, I think, I've been on this platform. And yeah, I've made so many amazing friends, made some really great projects on this thing, and it's been such a journey. So thank you guys so much for your love and support that you've given me, and hopefully I can keep pumping out content. Yeah, but you guys have left down some questions. I've laid down some ground rules for this one. So first off, personal questions are fine, but not to the point where I'd have to give away too much of my privacy. So, you know, like, where my family live, for example. You know, that kind of thing. So no asking questions is a big one. No asking questions when more content is coming out. I have been adamant on this, that a lot of subscribers, I do not like. Obviously, it's good to have a schedule, and I know I don't really have one, but at my current time, when I have a full-time uni course alongside this, I cannot afford to have a schedule, so I prefer if you guys were just patient with me. At least, maybe someday I will get like a full schedule, but I prefer if you guys just not hound me for stuff like that. So that's one thing. No NSFW questions, so pretty self-explanatory, really. And you are allowed to ask more than one. People were allowed to ask more than one question, but limit yourself to 5. So 5 questions per person that you have been limited to. But with all that said and done, let's get into the questions. I'm going to start with a question from Cherryberrydrop 97 on Discord. How long have you known that you wanted to make content? I've been on YouTube for about 10 years. I've started making content around 2021, but I've been on YouTube since, I'd like to say, 2011. So I started scrolling, and that was kind of, I first discovered YouTube and like the internet and stuff like that. And it became a real safe space for me. It became like this thing I would always look forward to, coming home from school and just watching a few YouTube videos, and it just brought me so much joy. And that was how I discovered like the Thomas fandom and all these different things. Like, and I really wanted to, and I kind of, when I was around finishing school, I kind of, because I didn't have the confidence nor know-how to start making YouTube content. So but when I kind of like was reaching the end of school, and I had my gap year coming up, I realized, hey, why don't I use this time as an opportunity to start making YouTube content? And so yeah, and the rest is history. I started my channel in 2021 and haven't really looked back since. What inspired you to take the path you did? Because the thing is, I'm on kind of a lot of kind of paths at the moment. I'd say initially it was acting was like my first love, and as in theatre, I think when I was in drama class, when I was in secondary school, so that's high school for us, for us in the UK, it made me feel really seen. I'm going to be honest, just having a character and having a stage, because I was a very quiet kid. I didn't really have much going for me around that time. I didn't really have any friends, and everyone kind of didn't really have the right impression of me. So when I started going up there on stage and I started being this character, started bringing out my kind of charisma, the kind of razzmatazz, as you will, I really started to feel at home, and I felt seen, and I kept just being, that really kind of what inspired me to pursue performing. And then obviously when I discovered other avenues like voice acting, editing, other ways just to be creative, I kind of realized how much of a voice it gives me, and how like seen I feel like from the art that I make. And even when I'm not doing anything creative, like I'm just being myself on my channel, or just when a reaction, or just being myself, like here, just being myself, it still feels like performing, and I'm still in that mindset of I'm being seen, what I'm saying makes sense to people, and people are listening. So like I have a platform to listen. And her final question was, how does it feel having a lot of people watching your videos? It feels surreal. It feels very surreal that behind this camera here, there are like over 3,000 people watching. Well, probably not for this video, but knowing there are 3,000 people, over 3,000 people supporting me and who like my content, who keep following me and supporting me no matter what I do. It really means a lot. So thank you, Cherry, for your questions. So we got another question from Discord from Nostalgic Multiverse, who also did a reaction. Shout out to him. He did a reaction to Bruno a few months back. If you had to pick a Thomas merchandise range to collect, what would it be and why? Honestly, I'd probably say Wooden Railway. That was some of the first content I came across when I first started browsing YouTube, was Thomas Wooden Railway content, and I had a lot of hand-me-down Brio and Wooden Railway stuff when I was a kid from my brother when he was growing up. And I used to like make this layout, like similar to how Thomas Wooden Railway Keycray24 did it. I used to like create my layouts and tell my own stories from that. So that was really my first love was Wooden Railway, and I don't know what it is about it. I think just the novelty of just you have these kind of like your own trains and you can just push them along with your hand. There's none of that kind of like motorized bull crap. It's just you like just there's something very therapeutic I found about just like pushing like a train along a wooden track, and it really stimulated me. And just none of that motorized like Trackmaster crap. Just constantly just a train on wood, and it was, I don't know, I've always wanted to collect Wooden Railway. It's quite expensive, and I think some of the quality is a bit, actually no, it's not that bad now. Actually, Wooden Railway's not that bad now, but I'm talking like older stuff, like from the 2000s and 90s. Like, it'd be extremely rare and quite expensive. I mean, some of the stuff that it goes through on eBay is ridiculous, but no, that's what I really would love to start collecting is, okay. There was one specific question I wanted to ask here. Okay, here we go. From loanedengineproductions, I believe it is. Yeah, loanedengineproductions. Favorite character from each franchise you like? I have so many, to be honest. We could be here all day. Because I have a lot of franchises. Do the obvious one, James from Thomas, I think. And I know I don't do MLP content anymore, but I'd say Fluttershy. I've always vibed with shy characters. I like a bit of anime. My Hero Academia. I really like Todoroki, I think he's called. The guy who's like the fire and the ice guy. He's always been my favorite character from that. Either him or All Might. I really like All Might in that. And so I like a lot of I like a lot of anime stuff, guys. So let me know if you want me to do more anime stuff on this channel. I'm trying to think what else. Has-Been Hotel. Either Alistair or Lucifer. Alistair is he's just a fun character, and Lucifer because I have a massive Jeremy Jordan's like my freaking male icon. I love Jeremy Jordan. He's such a great actor. So his other question was, what is your actual name? I think I've revealed it a few times, but my real name is Jack, last name Cunningham, Jack Cunningham. That's my real name, and like I was really a bit finicky about revealing it on camera on this channel, but I think it's really good establishing that like a person behind that does the content, so getting like my actual name out there. And I think like when it comes to like professional acting projects, that's typically what I do. I use my real name. So yeah, Jack Cunningham, that's my real name. Nice to meet you guys. Why is your channel named Little Owl? If you guys are Tugs fans, then you'll understand that that is the wiki name for the goods engine from Tugs, from High Tide. And because I was just scrolling random names. Initially, I was going to call myself The Wrong Jeans. And because that's the actual name of like my the email address I use for this channel is it would be a reference to Wallace and Gromit, The Wrong Jeans. It would be like a reference to Wallace and Gromit, and just I don't know why I chose jeans. It just sounded funny in my head, and I just pictured this edit of the poster from The Wrong Trousers, but instead it's just jeans. It's just that's always the image I had in my head, and it never felt right. But then I found Little Owl and on like the wiki, and I was just like, that actually would roll off the tongue quite well. And you know, it's something that it's niche enough, but also where someone actually understands the reference. So it was always like, I don't know, it felt right. It really felt right to, yeah. And so it just felt right. The name just felt right, you know? Next question. From Lightning Pitch 2001, I know you're not really into the MLP fandom, but what got you into MLP? I think it was just, initially when I first watched the show, I was cringing like hell, I will admit, but I think as I got into it, I was kind of like, I felt warm fuzzy feeling when I was watching some of the show. This is Gen 4 I'm talking about, and the Gen 5 movie. I did enjoy the Gen 5 movie, but when I started watching it, I was just like, it's a nice warm fuzzy feeling, and it kind of made me feel safe in a way. And then I kind of discovered the fandom side of things, so like audio dramas, stuff like that, and I was just like, there's so many opportunities in this fandom that I, as a voice actor, as an aspiring voice actor, I could really get some really good gigs out of this. So that was just my way of like throwing myself into these kind of stuff, and I managed to like network, get a few like voice reels going, because I've managed to work with Sugar Cloud, Scribbler, MuseScript. I got to work with some really, really big names, and it's been a pleasure. So yeah, no, it's done me some good, and I don't regret getting into the MLP fandom. Favorite song in general, I would say, is there's a lot of I like a lot of music. I'm particularly a big rock junkie. My favorite band I'd say at the moment is Fall Out Boy, and they did a song on the album Save Rock and Roll called The Phoenix, which is, it's like, if you listen to it, it's like a freaking anime intro. I love that song so much. It's like, it's my go-to running song. It's my exercise song. It's just, it's so hype. It's so hype. If I had to choose another one, it would probably be, because I really love Jonathan Young and Caleb Hiles and their music on YouTube. Jonathan Young's cover of Northwest Passage, again, the hype and also the story behind the Northwest Passage is fascinating. Like, I'm doing a script behind it for one of my modules. I'm so fascinated by the Northwest Passage story, and that song is just, I have it playing in my head now. It's just like, it's so good. Best memory made. That's so tough, because I've made so many good memories, like at university, going on holiday with family, and at conventions. Obviously been to the Audrey Extravaganza a few times. I will say I do have quite a funny story from the Extravaganza, which I have. It's a very good memory that sticks in my head. Engine Man, you'll know who you are. Bless him, but he so we were going to get pizza at the only place in Term that was open after 9 o'clock, and we found this place to pizza, and we decided to split a margarita. And the guy said, I don't know how he did this, but the guy said it was the pizza cost, when it came to paying him, he said it cost 15 quid. And Engine Man was going through his money, and he was just thinking, and then he kind of got to the point where I was like, I just don't have enough. And I was like, what, 15 quid? And then he corrected himself. He said, they heard him say 15 quid. And he said, I thought you said 50 quid. He nearly paid for a 50 quid pizza. And I was just like, what's this pizza got on it? Like gold dust or something. That's a very funny story I have. So the Audrey Extravaganzas have been fun. I'm going again this year, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Other good memories. Just like the small ones. I remember last year, 2024, me and a few friends watched the Eurovision Song Contest together, which, if you guys don't know, it's a song contest based for countries in Europe and Australia for some reason. Yeah, for some reason Australia is a member of Eurovision. Don't ask why. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got to make like a real kind of, we had like snacks. We stayed till, I think it was like 11 it finished. And then afterwards, because it was a hot summer night, we went out and had a little picnic at night. It was like perfect temperature, and it was just fun, just a little kind of like Eurovision party. I hope to do it again this year. We'll see. But yeah, no, there's a few like good memories that I can think of off the top of my head, but I've made so many good ones. I've got so many amazing ones, and really, really fun late times. I've had a fun life, I'm really grateful for memories I've made with people. What's your favorite Thomas episode? I've said this before. Will always be All at Sea, and I think the fandom has taken a while to properly appreciate that episode, but it means so much to me, and I can't really put my hand on why. It was one of the first episodes I watched. I think it was like the second episode on the Escape and Other Stories VHS. But it was so it made me feel really at home. I can't really describe it. It was just a lot of fun, and I got engrossed in the harbor atmosphere, and I think the set making and like the way they used the water, and also just the story in general was so like powerful to me. It like the idea of like you are perfect, just doing your bit, and like, that's like rough. It's basically about being who you are and doing your bit. So, and just being grateful with the role you have in life, like even if you aspire to be something better. So it's just such a well-told story, and like obviously the prop making and the music, like some of the camera work as well. It all resonated with me, and I can't really describe how. It really touched a place. It has a special place in my heart, and it really, touched me. So I love All at Sea. Other favorites include Escape, Grand Puff, Ghost Train. That's another one. I really, really like Ghost Train. There's another big one I feel I'm missing. Henry's Forest. I love that. Rusty and the Boulder, Edward's Exploit. A lot of the kind of obvious ones, but I love them. Oh, and Flying Kipper as well. Of course, that's a really big obvious one that I love. So thank you, Lightning Pitch, for your questions. Spider-Fan 2003, what railway series story do you wish the TV show adapted? Honestly, I kind of wish they adapted the Cull-de-Fell engines, but in Season 4 style. Like, I know obviously it wouldn't be particularly viable, because especially considering how expensive the narrow gauge models were, but seeing that set building that they did for the narrow gauge lot, and seeing that with the Cull-de-Fell engines, like, can you imagine Devil's Back in that like model style? It would be so incredible. And even in CGI, it would still look really, really cool. So Cull-de-Fell engines, I would really have loved to see them adapt. I'd love to see more like Christopher Audrey, like niche Christopher Audrey stories adapted. So like James and the Diesel Engines, old stuck-up crossed lines. I feel like they could be really fun, like episodes, especially in like Season 2 style, because I think it was released the same year, that book. So yeah, those are a few. The small railway engines, I know they were adapted for CGI, but that adapted for the model series, like seeing the scenery, like in that kind of Season 4 style, it'd be so cool. Do you think it was for the better that Thomas switched to CGI? I think so. I think the models were as cool as the models were, and as the model making just got better and better over time. It was really good quality for the hit era. I think it did run its course. I think it was a bit, but I think CGI gave this fresh like coat of paint and like a fresh new set of eyes watching it, and hooked on these characters, on these stories. I mean, the season itself wasn't the best, but I think it really like came into its own. I think it was a really fresh change of pace for them to switch to CGI. So I think it was necessary for them to change it up a bit. Stuart Barkley 7940 asks, what is your favorite Tugs episode? High Tide. Will always be High Tide. I just think that episode is a masterclass in building tension. Like seeing how everything just kind of mounts up. You've got like, it's a busy day in the ports. You've got the steel contract, which is really, 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 really important. It's a high tide, and the Z-stacks have a really high load. Zach's engine is not... Just everything builds and builds and builds until it gets to that scene with the train, with the bridge and the train and Little Owl, actually. So, yeah, that's another thing. It does actually involve the basis for my channel in that episode, in solitary appearance. But it just in general, I think the way it builds and the way it caps off in the most epic way. It's such an amazingly paced episode, and yeah, it's one of the few episodes where I feel like it's kind of better as a 15-minute one. The others, you can kind of tell that they had to cut stuff out to make for, like, because originally Tugs episodes were supposed to be 20, all of them were supposed to be 20 minutes long, but I think this works perfectly as a 15-minute one, just how it's paced and how well it's done. I love. So all-time favorite is High Tide, hands down. Another one, Ghosts. just the atmosphere is incredible. The atmosphere is amazing. Like, seriously, what is it with David Mitton and Foggy episodes just being so amazing? He has, and it just really added a sense of atmosphere. And I think also choosing winter as a time for supernatural goings on, I think is a really, really clever choice. As like, because everyone's so used to like Halloween and autumn, so changing the setting and changing the season was a really kind of good change of pace. Other ones, munitions, of course. Pirate is another big one. I love the story of Pirate. It's really, really just so interesting and like really mature for a kid's show. Really, really mature, and I love it. Second one, underrated Disney movies. Treasure Planet, definitely one big underrated one. I love Treasure Planet, and there was one I watched I want to say Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I feel like so many people talk about it in the comments, and the only reason, like, it's so well regarded in like online communities and stuff, and I feel like the only reason it would be considered underrated is because it didn't really do well with critics, and it kind of has a mistaken identity in Disney's library. No one really pays too much attention to it because it's such an outlier. It's such a black sheep, but I think because of that, it's kind of got the attention it deserves. So I think I would say sort of. Atlantis: The Lost Empire I watched the other day. That was really good. I think the animation is good, and it's a relatively well-told story. Plus, it has Michael J. Fox as the lead in it, and I love that guy. Ever since Back to the Future, I love that guy. Yeah, other ones, I'd say a lot of ones from the Bronze Age of Disney ones. So, Robin Hood, Aristocats, Oliver and Company. That's the one I really liked. There's a lot of like really underrated ones from like the 70s and 80s that I really like. Not Black Cauldron, though. I know a popular one would be Black Cauldron, but I really didn't like that movie. Aside from the animation, but I really didn't like that movie. Yeah, so a few examples there. Have you ever seen Waterloo Road? No, I can't say I have. I've seen trailers for it, but I'm not really sure if it might interest me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll give it a go. Favorite MLP parent characters? Don't really have ones, I'm gonna be honest. The obvious one would probably be Bright Mac and Pear Butter, even though they were in just one episode, but that episode is one of the best MLP episodes, so it's kind of like, I don't know. So maybe them for like just the emotional backstory and the novelty of like, I don't know, and just the emotional hook it gave me, but that's more for the episode itself, not the characters. Yeah, I don't really have an answer there, to be honest. I don't really have one. Raptosaurus King asks, what other franchises have you been introduced to besides Thomas and MLP? Can be cartoon, anime, video game. I'm into quite a few. I really love Sonic. Sonic is a big one. Oh yeah, that's sorry. Going back to Sonic, like favorite characters thing from favorite character from Sonic, Silver the Hedgehog. I really love like his backstory, and I think he's really misused potential, especially later on. So yeah, I love Blaze is another good one that I really love. Those are like my two favorite characters from Sonic, I think. But Sonic the Hedgehog is a big franchise I've been into ever since I was young. The music, like just the stories behind it. I've always loved Sonic, so that's a big franchise I really want to get into. I really want to do some Sonic themed covers. Let me know if you want me to do those. Other ones. There's a few animes that I really like. My Hero Academia. I love Studio Ghibli movies. A lot of like kind of franchises like that. Doctor Who I've recently been getting into. Because a friend's been showing me a lot of that. There's a Epic, which is like the concept musical going around on TikTok. I love Epic so much. It's such a great musical. Just anything musicals related, really. I love like Dear Evan Hansen, Hamilton, Mean Girls I did like, Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, no, I love musicals. Like anything musical related is just, honestly, give me that. A lot of obviously Disney franchises, stuff like that. Just anything animation, really. Just anything animation. Like Invincible, Nimona. I thought it was a great film. Loved Nimona. Okay, and number 2, who are your top 5 Thomas villains? I don't really have a top 5. I'm not really the kind of guy who ranks stuff, is the thing. I just sort of look at something and just think, oh, he's cool. Oh, he's cool. He's also cool. Oh, yeah, you're also cool. So, oh, you're also amazing. So it's kind of like, I don't really have I have like a few favorites. Diesel 10 and obviously and Sailor John. Like Diesel 10 especially, I love his performance, Neil Crone's performance for him. Sailor John, another great performance, John Hurt. I think it was his last voice role, John Hurt, but I think having a human character was such a nice change of pace, and seeing him actually a Thomas like villain that was actually manipulative, there was kind of more less black and white kind of thing. And obviously Diesel 10's iconic, his design kind of really over the top. He's so cool. Diesel kind of makes an interesting sort of anti-hero kind of thing. I really love I really love the concept, like, and I feel especially in the CGI in the Branagh era, they did a lot more with that kind of like anti-hero persona where he's kind of like there's a lot more grey to him than black and white. So yeah, I love Diesel. Diesel's great. Diesel's a vibe. And Ari and Bert from Stepney Gets Lost. Every other depiction of them is just eh. But in that one episode, Stepney Gets Lost, they are terrifying. I swear. Like like kind of grim messengers of doom kind of thing. I think they really, really should have rolled with that a bit more. If you could live on Sodor, where would you be and why? Probably Edward's branch line, you know. I think it's kind of rural, kind of separate from everything, and there's obviously Brendam Docks, the kind of seaside kind of thing. So it's a nice mix of just peaceful countryside mixed with obviously down by the sea. It's kind of industrial, but at the same time, I wouldn't actually mind it. Plus, Edward's a really fun character to be around. Is like a really kind of friendly character. So I feel like you would start a good friendship with Edward. So yeah, you could get on with the locals. Name your favorite movies from 2024. Probably Deadpool and Wolverine. I loved Deadpool and Wolverine. It's just, I quote it all the time, and it was just such a fun time. I can't really think of any other movies that I've watched from this year. The Sonic 3 movie, that was amazing. That was really, really good. I watched it in 2025, but it came out last year, so that was good. Number 5. Which fictional character, not just Thomas, can you relate to? There's one big one. I'd probably say Evan Hansen from Dear Evan Hansen is like, because he's from like a musical. They've got a lot of like mental health issues, lack of confidence in oneself. I really, really relate to him. I don't often relate to characters. It's very, again, like I don't have like a signature like character that I'm like, oh my god, he's me. I don't really have like a signature kind of character, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'd say Evan Hansen from Dear Evan Hansen is a big one for me. Fletcher Mason asks, have you ever watched Bluey? I really, really should. I really want to, and a lot of people I know really like it and really vibe with it, so I do want to at some point get into Bluey. I do want to watch it, because it seems like something that'd be really up my street. What other content, it says contact, but I presume you mean content, do you think about doing? More singing stuff. I really, really enjoy singing. It's just, I really need to be in such a specific mood to sing. And to be honest, this channel's really become a Thomas-oriented channel. So it's one of those things where it's like, to market myself, I would really, like, wouldn't mind starting up, like, a different channel based purely on that. It's, so, other content, more original stories, like acting stuff, audio plays, stuff like that. So yeah, like comic dubs, I wouldn't mind doing a few comic dubs. Yeah, no, skits. I've definitely been having fun doing skits. Yeah, no, there's a few content I can see myself doing. It's obviously just difficult at the moment because I have so much on. But, who are your favorite Autobots and Decepticons in Transformers? Probably Starscream Decepticon. He's such a slimy bastard in every depiction he's in, and it's just so... I don't know, he keeps every time he's kind of like, you think, you just can't trust him in any kind of, especially in Transformers Prime. It's like, you cannot, he's so slimy, and you cannot trust him. Like, moments where it's kind of like, you kind of feel like he's changed his ways, and then he's just like, nope, he does a complete 180 turn. He only, like, looks out for himself, and only just cares for himself, and he's so enjoyable to watch, just constantly seeing him crumble, and just be this absolute bastard to everyone. I love it. So, Autobots, I'm not really sure I have one, you know. Let's see, Optimus is great. Bumblebee is a big one. Like Bumblebee, I really love his design and like the Mustang kind of thing. RC is a big one. RC is a big one. I'm thinking mostly of Transformers Prime characters because that's the only Transformers series I've like fully binged. So yeah, no, Transformers has a lot of like memorable characters, and I love like their designs and seeing like their vehicle forms versus like their bot forms. It's really really cool. I've already said what my favorite movies from 2024 are. What movies are you planning on seeing this year? I don't know is the answer. I really don't know like much that's coming out is the thing. Yeah, no, it's weird because it's like I'm very spontaneous guy, so it's very much like what movies are coming out when and where. So yeah, just see if there's anything that interests me, or if like my friends want to go see anything with them and they want me to tag along. Sure, like So I'm a very spontaneous guy, so I can't really think of any off the top of my head that I really desperately really want to see. James Rogers asks, are you aware of the Sodorland trailer? Yes, I am, and I am hyped as fuck for it. If you were to give Thomas characters different voices, who'd you pick and why? And yeah, it says here, this question has potential to be its own video, maybe. If you give Thomas characters different voices, I think it depends. It depends really, I don't really know. I can't really answer that question. It's very much something that I don't know. If you'd have to give me a character, because I can't really think of one off the top of my head. If you had to give me a character, I'd just spontaneously come up with a voice for it and picture. So maybe a separate video, like maybe like a collab with other voice actors, like just discussing Thomas characters and like giving different voices to them and why we potentially think that. I think it'd be interesting. Have you watched YouTube Poop known as the Train Killers? I love Hour of Poop. His content is so funny. It's such amazing quality. Hour of Poop makes some amazing stuff. I've also seen the one with I think it was Zippy and Bungle from Rainbow and Lara Croft, and they're just running from them, and Zippy just goes, "Oh bollocks, I've just pissed myself." It has me in stitches every single time. So I love Hour of Poop's content. The Train Killers is an absolute banger. Having the Fat Controller as this, just trying to basically bouncing off his engines, and it's a fun one. He makes some really good content, really good content, and really good quality. That one especially, to Train Killers, I especially love. Aaron Williams, good friend of mine, asks, which Thomas the Tank Engine character theme represents you as a person? So theme, interesting. I think, because I'm a story of, this kind of plays into characters a bit as well. Like, I feel like I'm a mix between Edward and James for me personally. Like, especially when I'm on camera here, I very much am James. That kind of suave charisma and kind of confidence and just general kind of energy that James brings. He has that, like I said, charisma. He has that when he comes out, and he kind of, so James, and his theme is full of so much swagger and just so much just confident. Again, he's someone who kind of brims with confidence in himself, and I think he's such a fun character to watch and very kind of bursting with energy. So I'd say James's theme is one, and the other one I'd say is Edward's theme. Again, kind of like more laid back, kind of wiser, more shy, less, ironically enough, less self-confident side of me, because sometimes I'm more confident than others, to be honest, and I think Edward definitely represents that, and you see his themes kind of, it's very bouncy, it has like a pep to it, like it has a pep to it, and it's kind of, but at the same time it's still kind of like fairly laid back and kind of chill. So I really like it. So I think it's a mix between Edward and James's theme for me, who are ironically two of my two favorite characters. What kind of villains would you enjoy playing the most? Interesting. I really like villains that experiment with like different kind of voices, because I'm someone who loves doing accents, and I think really seeing like with such a villain with such a distinct accent, like Obviously, there's the suave British one, like Scar from The Lion King. Life's not fair, is it? And that was shit. I'm sorry, but and those kind of posh, suave, kind of smooth villains with a very kind of divine presence to them. Oh, how lovely! I sound like Tim Curry a bit. Just I suppose, like, and again, like, with different accents, like, it depends, because a lot of it depends on the character itself. Like, how evil is the villain itself? Like, are they kind of manipulative, and how kind of obvious is that manipulation? I think villains are such a unique tapestry, and it'd be so interesting, like, seeing all these different, just seeing them. It's so interesting to me, like, seeing how, it depends really how you write a villain, and I'm willing to adapt my voice around it, kind of thing, and just playing it in general, like a live villain in a film. Why not? What were your obstacles in singing, and how did you overcome them? This one, it's interesting with singing, because I think for me is establishing like a healthy technique, and understanding like how pitch works, how resonance works. I think with singing, it's about once you find like a comfortable technique and a comfortable natural voice, and that will kind of give you the limits of your range, the limits of what kind of music your voice would really suit, and what combined with like music you really want to try singing. Because really, I'm kind of the person who likes to experiment with different genres and like different ranges, different pitches. So singing, like, the biggest thing I think is finding like that healthy technique of singing and actually making it sound that people would actually want to hear you sing, rather than it's just you screeching at the top of your lungs. So yeah, I think singing, it's about finding like the technique and making sure you're singing healthily is like the biggest obstacle I find when it comes to that. As a story writer, what is your favorite part about writing the main character of a story? Honestly, and this is going to sound sick and depraved of me, but it's making them suffer. I love making characters suffer. I did like a writing class when I was in around my first year of university. Best piece of advice I got was constantly make your characters suffer. Make them hurt. Because when you put your characters through as much pain as possible, the reward that you get for it, and you really feel that reward, you feel it so much more. So I think for me, the main like joy I get out of it, as sick and twisted as it seems, is making them suffer and making sure that the reward they get, because it may not be a reward is the thing, it might be a tragic ending, making sure that what the ending they get makes the most sense for the story and for them as a person, and just if it's a positive ending, you really feel like they've earned that. So putting my characters through hell and just seeing them come out the other side triumphant, or just a better person, and just seeing their character arc come full circle, I love that. I love like making characters suffer. That sounds horrible, but still. Next question. Thoughts on the Beatles, and what's your favourite Beatles song? I'm not that big into the Beatles, to be honest. I find their music a bit cookie cutter. I mean, it's kind of ironic because, like, obviously they were the first time that they did it, so I think they laid the foundation for music going forward, and I respect their legacy. Like, who wouldn't respect the Beatles' legacy? But I just don't think it's my kind of music. I think it's a bit too just bland for me, the Beatles. I respect their legacy, of course, but I don't know, just there's other stuff. There's other music I'm just more into, like like rock, bit kind of more heavier rock, not heavier rock. But, I'm not necessarily a metal junkie, but I do like a bit of metal, and like punk and that kind of thing. So definitely kind of more stuff that has more energy to it. I think for me, it depends what mood I'm in, but Do you have your own Thomas headcanon? And is Gordon a normal LNER A1 rebuilt into an A3 in your headcanon? Yes or no? That's so specific, and I love it. That's such a specific question. I don't really have, like, a designated headcanon. I definitely did when I was younger. I think it was, like, more implementing other Thomas fan theories and, like, fan series and trying to implement that into one distinct timeline / canon. And to be honest, I feel like Gordon like being like a prototype A3 slash A1, A1 slash A3. I think it works for his character, and it kind of gives, it really works considering that there are no more A3s other than the Flying Scotsman. So I think it works, but I don't know. I don't really have like a headcanon. Like I have original stories, then like stories that I feel like could fit into a headcanon, but no, I'm not really a guy with a headcanon, so interesting. What are your thoughts on Steve Reviews, and what is your favorite video from him? Honestly, I love Steve Reviews. His stuff introduced me to some of like the weird and wacky of animation, and some of the dark as well. So that was how I got introduced to Plague Dogs. Obviously Watership Down's a big one that really does. Animal Farm, the 1954 film. I love that movie so much, honestly. Like, dark, depraved shit, I swear. Like, dark, depraved animation, just like everyone else thinking, oh, it's only for kids, you know? No. Watch this shit and then come back to me. He even did Tugs as a review once. He even did Tugs, which was, I had a little fanboy moment when, when I found out he was doing Tugs. Yeah, other stuff. No, I love Steve Reviews' content. I think he's really witty. I think he's a really funny, like, British guy. He's not trying to be overly funny. He's just clearly just being himself, talking about stuff that he's passionate about. So yeah, I love Steve Reviews. Imagine if I get to collab with him. That would be nuts. Getting to collab with fucking Steve Reviews, that would be nuts. Thoughts on the Trapdoor narrated by Willie Rushton? Not seen it, unfortunately. And next one I haven't seen either. Thoughts on the Loud House? I've not seen the Loud House. I've had recommendations from it, but I don't know. I just haven't found myself watching any of those. Soto Railway Studios 2006. Favorite Sonic character? Oh yeah, we've come back to this question. Silver or Blaze? I'd say. Shadow's also really, really cool, and obviously the guy himself, Sonic. Vector, I think Vector's got a really cool design. I know it's just a crocodile, but still, like, the chain and the headphones is like, I could probably do a Vector cosplay. If I just got myself, like, a gold chain here, I could probably do, and a crocodile tail, I could probably do a Vector cosplay. Favorite Thomas the Tank Engine character theme? Donald and Douglas are up there. I love Donald and Douglas's theme. I think it's, like, because it's not, like, unapologetically Scottish. It's just got such a grand energy to it that I love. Oliver's theme, especially his escape variant of that theme, I love. James, I love his theme. Obviously, so suave and like swagger. Bow. Oh god, why am I getting flashbacks to when I perfectly synced the James theme with that Trampy movie reaction where I just sung it, and the minute I stopped was just when James stopped was just the perfect time. I'm getting flashbacks to that. Tell me if you remember that. Favorite... Oh, that links quite nicely into my next question. Favorite reaction you've done on your channel? Oh, sorry, there's one above that. But I'll answer this one because it's a nice segue. Favorite reaction... probably Chumish and French. The first episode of Chumish and French. Looking back on it, I've never laughed so hard at something. And considering I'm in it, it probably sounds a bit narcissistic, but it was... It just hit the right spots, and I think it was, I don't know if I was in just such a good mood that day. I just had a lot of energy, and it was just watching that back, it was just a lot of fun to watch back, because I don't really watch back my reactions, obviously, for like feedback and like that kind of, but I don't know, like other like content that I work more on, like my original stories and stuff, I will obviously listen back to and I enjoy a lot more. But, you know, reactions I don't often, like, come back to be honest. It's just a bit weird. But, yeah, no. Achievements for French, I do enjoy doing Trampy movie reactions. I don't know if there's not a specific one that stands out to me, to be honest. Because it's just me laughing, let's be honest. It's just me laughing a lot. A lot of them is just my contagious laughter. Okay, I'll go back to the question above. Which of the Transformers Prime redubs you did with Aaron Williams are you the most proud of? My greatest mistake? I've made a few, but there is one I do not intend to make again. Like, getting to voice Starscream in that was so much fun, and it did really well, actually. I think it's over, like, 1k views, which, considering it was a redubs don't often do too well, so it was really, really cool, and it was really fun getting to voice Starscream in that. And then I did a recent one with him, which was, I can't remember the episode, but it was Starscream leading Optimus to a human base in the Arctic. Sorry, I got something stuck to my throat. So yeah, no, doing those dubs is a lot of fun with Aaron, and hopefully we'll get to do more in the future. Favorite character to voice? God, I've got so many. Starscream from Transformers is a big one. I love voicing Starscream. Kind of suave, sophisticated Disney villains like Scar, Gaston. I love voicing Gaston. I like doing... I was about to say I like doing Dr. Facilier, but I'm not really exactly culturally obliged to voice that kind of character, but to be fair, I've done Friends on the Other Side. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, no, I really want to get into like voicing anime characters. I really want to get into just the actual technique behind anime voice acting, because I think that'd be so cool. Okay, next one. What's your favorite Trampy movie so far? I don't really have one, is the thing. I think they're all pretty good, and I think they just keep getting better and better and better. So they all build off each other, and they're gaining more heart. I will say, I prefer when they have more heart, and we're actually establishing character behind them. It's less just, oh, just funny Thomas stories retold. There's actual heart to these characters, and the writing is stellar. So... yeah, I love the Trampy movies, and I don't really have a favorite, is the thing. What engine classes would you want to see get made into characters? I'd love to see them make a Garrett into a character, because I think there was a Trains model going around ages ago where it made a Garrett model, and it had a face on both the tenders and obviously a dummy engine in the middle. So I'd love to see them do like a Garrett character and play into that, like, to see like where the face would be and see what kind of character it would be. So I'd love to see them make like a Garrett engine, you know, the one with two tenders on each side. What are your favorite TV cartoon shows beside Thomas, Top Gear, or Doctor Who? Oh god, I have a lot. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I can't answer. There are too many. Favorite MLP villain? Again, don't really have one. So like probably Tyrek? I don't know. I don't really know. Chrysalis is a big one. Chrysalis is a very big one. I don't know. There are a lot of, like, really good ones. Grogarp, I feel like he was misused in Gen 4, but yeah, could have done missed opportunity there. What are your recommendations / tips for voice acting? Honestly, just experiment with different voices. Find yourself, Always advice. Most frequent advice I get just for acting in general is take yourself out of your comfort zone. Try new stuff, and try like stuff you wouldn't normally do. Obviously, it's good to have like a voice acting identity and have like people know you for specific voices or just like a tone, voices you excel in, but always trying something new. I'm always like looking for a new challenge, a new voice for me to do, a new kind of for me to expand my range, for me to expand, like, and get to know new people, stuff I wouldn't normally, like, audition for. So, honestly, for voice acting, biggest piece of advice I can get is try something new every single time and throw yourself into different opportunities and find different, like, ways of expanding your range and, like, characters, and just audition for stuff that you wouldn't normally audition for. So that's my biggest piece of advice. What are your thoughts of the idea of making fan-made crossover videos / series and movies? They're fun. They're a lot of fun. And I think, like, if you just switch your mind off and not take the stories too seriously and, like, acknowledge and just try to ignore some of, like, pacing and stuff, I think they're fun. And I remember back in the day, there was one that did a lot of, like, Winnie the Pooh with Disney movie crossovers, which were a lot of fun. And so they're just fun things, and seeing these characters interact and just imagining them in that universe it's a lot of fun. And so switch your brain off to them and just kind of ignore them, and also they remind me of like nostalgia. Not ignore them, sorry, that was horrible to say, but just they're also very nostalgic for me growing up. So they're fun content that you kind of switch off to. I like fan-made crossovers. There's still like there's an art to it, like make them tasteless. You can make them tasteful, of course, but you know what I mean. Like they're fun. They're just fun. Do you enjoy your time voicing James for my miniseries, AngelPirelaproductions? Of course I do. Your recent one was so much fun, and I love voicing James, the Red Engine, in anything I do. I just think he's kind of like, he's such like a default voice for me to, go into like that kind of nasal voice and just, there's a bit more, he's kind of obnoxious, but he's also a bit suave, you see? I sound like Spud from Bob the Builder right now. Travis! But yeah, no, of course I do. And I think I've really enjoyed your recent one, chapter 4 of the Hilda crossover. It was a lot of fun, and I really love your content and your series, bro. So keep at it and keep having me on as James. So it's a lot of fun. What angers you the most, Banoffee Pie VA? What angers you the most? Fakery, I think, is the biggest thing that really angers me. Like, you see, just people just not being their authentic self. That, especially with like social media and how just life in general forces you to wear a mask that just isn't you, I think really just brings everyone out of their comfort zone, and everyone's trying to be better than they need to be. And obviously I believe in self-improvement, and I believe in the mask because it helps. Everyone has a mask somewhere. I'm wearing a mask now, but at the same time, I really wish people would just be themselves more. That's like my one rule of thumb, like, for me, is I never want to be someone I'm not. I'm always going to try and be myself. So fakery does make me very angry. Condescension is a big one for me personally, because I've always been, like, I'm the youngest of 4. I am the youngest one in my family. I am very much I've always, like, on the autistic spectrum, so I've always been kind of condescending and people just not understanding it, and so think, oh, we need to baby him, kind of thing. And just in general, just people believing that I can't do something. People do doubt me. I cannot stand it when people doubt me, and just because, like, based off first impressions of me, and it grinds my gears. And so yeah, I hate it when people I hate it when people doubt me. I can't stand it. That's one, like, so those are like 2 things that do anger me. See, I'm not perfect, guys. I do have things that grind my gears. Who is your favorite Thomas character to impersonate, and your favorite one in general? I feel like I've answered this question a lot. I don't really have one. It's just, again, like, as a voice actor, I'm always looking for, like, new characters to impersonate and voice, and make some original voices for new characters. As much fun I do have, like, impersonation stuff, I really want to do, like, more. I like doing original voices and just experimenting with different stuff. You might have to ignore the music upstairs, that's just my housemate, but hopefully it won't be too noticeable. There might be some good ambience, who knows? I'll probably edit music over this, who knows? But, do you think you can do impressions of puppet characters from British children's television programmes? I suppose I could do Zippy from Rainbow. Oh, that was awful. Sorry. Oh, that was appalling. I'm so sorry. That was dreadful. I like doing Zippy. Like, what others? Puppet character. I love puppet characters. From the original. I suppose I could do Sooty. Yeah, get it? Because he doesn't speak. But, so puppet characters, I love puppet characters. It's such a nice trend going forward. In British television, especially back like the 90s and 80s. So I love puppet characters. There's a certain charm to them. So SubSimpich. Do you like Train Spotting? Not the movie, the activity. I can't say I've done much of it. Because I'm going to be honest, like, engines today don't really interest me. They're all kind of like squarish, just passenger trains, and like they're just passenger diesels, and they're not that interesting. So I don't really train spot. But if I'm at like a railway gala or something, then yeah, I'll do a bit of train spotting. I'll like note down their numbers. It's cool. 2, favorite Aardman movie. If the Wallace and Gromit shorts count, then Wrong Trousers, definitely. They don't gotta count. I mean, it's a short film, for crying out. Film! So, no, it's gotta be Wrong Trousers. Other ones, I love Chicken Run. Chicken Run is really, really great. I really, really love Chicken Run, the original. Not too fond of the sequel, I have to be honest. The sequel's a bit sucky. I'm really fond of the newest one, Vengeance Most Foul. I thought that was really, really faithful to Nick Park's humor and the Wallace and Gromit material. So I love that one. Flushed Away was a good one. I really love Flushed Away. Curse of the Were-Rabbit. I just love Aardman in general. I think it's just such a great. It's so sad though because they've run out of clay, and well, they're running out of clay. So like the factory that produces the clay for Aardman has the final one's closed down, and so they're running out of clay. So it's really sad that someday we won't get to see that stop motion anymore. Sorry, that's a bit of a sad note to end on, but favorite place to eat. I like a Five Guys, I'm going to be honest. I do like a Five Guys if we're talking like restaurants and stuff. Domino's Pizza, I am a massive pizza guy. I do love pizza. Nando's, bit of cheeky Nando's. I think that's the most British thing I've ever said in my life. Yeah, no, I like a bit of... I like eating. Food's cool. Who is your favorite Railway Series exclusive character? I love like the niche ones, like the background ones. You know, like the Sodal Railway, the ballast spreader. That one this is gonna sound really niche, but that one caterpillar crane in the Thomas and the Twins book. The really niche and like the odd looking ones I really like. What else? There's one really like obvious one off the top of my head. I love the Coldifell engines. I think they're really, really cool. I love their design, and obviously my love for them caused me to write a short horror story on them. So that was one. Who's your favorite character from Bambi? Don't really have one. I love Thumper. I think he's really cool, and Flower as well. Does Man count? Man doesn't really count. Suppose because it's more of an entity rather than an actual villain. But Bambi's great. I love Bambi. It's my favorite Disney film actually. Out of all the Trampy movies you watched so far, what's your favorite? Well, I've already answered that one. I don't really have one. Flying Scotsman or City of Truro? Flying Scotsman. I'm going to be honest. There was a lot of City of Truro. Can he really claim that he reached 100 miles per hour? Like, there's a lot of. It's kind of iffy, you know. It's really iffy. Who's your least favorite Thomas character? Billy. Why does he exist? Just why? Just why? Why does he exist? Another one, if it kind of counts, the Tumbleweed. There's a running joke I have with my friends that the Tumbleweed from the Magic Railroad movie is a character. Every time I watch that scene in the movie, I just burst into inaudible swearing. I swear, I hate the Tumbleweed so freaking much. Why? It just represents every single like thing wrong with the Americanization of that movie. I hate the Tumbleweed so much. I swear. It's making me choke on air. It made me so upset. What's your opinion on 101 Dalmatians 2 Patch's Adventure? I love the original 101 Dalmatians. One of my favorite Disney movies. Not seen the second one in a while, but I remember liking it. I do remember liking it. I do remember like the story behind it. But yeah, no, I'm overdue a rewatch of that. MarianneStudios, what's your opinion on High School? I presume that's High School Musical 2? HS2? Congrats on 3.5k. Thank you very much. I suppose that means High School Musical 2? Is that what you mean? I love it. I think the third one is the best one for me. Third one definitely has the best songs. But High School Musical 2, the High School Musical movies are like, they're comfort movies for me. I grew up with them my sister watching them on Disney Channel, and I just fell in love with them. So I'm really nostalgic for the High School Musical movies. And, yeah, I presume that's what you mean by them. And also the songs are absolute bangers. Daylight Twinkle, which historic tourist railway museum do you like the most? I went to Didcot a few times, which is like this, if you don't know, it's this kind of like shed full of like mostly Great Western Railway engines, and I went there with my dad a couple times, so I love Didcot. What else? I've been to Swindon. I remember I went to Swindon once. Obviously, the Tally Flynn Railway. I love the Tally Flynn. Obviously, like the Audrey Extravaganza. It's so much fun going there. Yeah. So yeah, a few. So, Shining Time Studios, favorite Thomas episode, favorite Thomas episode I've answered. Railway Story, I don't really have a favorite Railway Series book or a Railway Series story. I do, actually, no, I have a favorite book, Enterprising Engines, I'd say, and that kind of links into the stories, so I'd say Enterprising Engines is my favorite. It's just, I don't know, it's just, there's so much at stake in it, and it's such a well-told story, and it's so intense, and of course, and you know, you get a real sense that the engines are kind of like, this is changing with the other railway acknowledging like scrapping most of its steam like traction. So there's real stakes in that one, I feel. What do you want to see for the 80th anniversary? Honestly, I don't really know at this point, because Mattel's obviously sent the little blue train down the drain. So I don't really have much aspirations nor hopes for it. I just hope that I'm sure the fandom will do some great stuff. Like, I'll see if I do something for this year. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't really know, to be honest. Do you think making Thomas and the Magic Railroad canon was the best way to honor Brit? I can see where she's coming from, but I feel like it needs to be in its own canon, because it's just such a bizarre movie, and it just doesn't fit in the image of Thomas. Like, if it was his own canon, like, I'd love to see, because I think some people have like made like series expanding upon the Magic Railroad canon, so I feel like acknowledging it as its own canon and creating like a separate universe from it, but acknowledging it as the same universe with the same stories as stories like Thomas Gets Bumped, and you know, the ultra realistic stories like Percy and the Signal, the really kind of boring ones. I think it just clashes so much, so I just don't think it fits. If you could, it's a good way to honor Brit as it is her material, but you know what I mean, like, it just doesn't fit for me. If you could describe Thomas in one word, what would it be? That's tricky. I'd say, part of me wants to say, I'd say groundbreaking is one. Actually, no. Timeless is one I'd really like to say. I think, which is ironic considering it's like trains and stuff, but there's some, actually, no. Sorry. I take all that back. I've got the right word for it. Universal. Seriously, not the studio. Universal is the best way I could describe Thomas. It has literally something for everyone. You have the more laid back stories for like someone who kind of a bit more kind of overwhelmed and over like stimulated, and then you have the more action packed stuff like Alice season 5 and like Thomas and the Magic Railroad. You have like a real mix of stuff, and it can be for both boys and girls. I know quite a lot of people from both genders in the fandom. Yeah, no, universal, I'd say, is the best word I can use to describe Thomas. Like, children and adults. Like, I don't think I'll ever get tired of Thomas, the original series anyway. I don't think I'll ever lose that love. So, you know what I mean. Universal, it's the best way I can describe it. What is the best thing about the Thomas fandom to you? Creativity, I'd say, is I think it's gone slightly creatively bankrupt now, but at the same time, that's probably a mistake with YouTube's algorithm recommending like the same stuff over and over again. But I remember like when I was younger, there was just so much stuff. Like, on one end of the spectrum, you have people making like typical trains content, like stories like the original like classic series, and then you have people making freaking Tobias and the Half Pariah, Timothy, and Shed 17. Like, the spectrum of creativity in the fandom is like, there's such a wide spectrum of creativity, and there's like analysts, people who do analysts. There's so much creativity and so much insight in this fandom that it creates so much. You basically have something for everyone here, and I always love it. Rebel X13, nice milestone. Do you train your voice for voice acting, or is it naturally awesome? First off, thank you very much. That's very sweet of you to say. I think, first off, obviously, warm up before voice acting definitely is a big must. Sometimes, this is coming from someone who doesn't do it as often as he should, I will admit, but I do highly recommend you warm up. That is a big thing that you need to do, is warm up. But I think the biggest thing with voice acting is like it's not necessarily training your voice. You can obviously train your voice to like pronunciation and diction. You can really like work on that with like diction exercises. Articulatory agility is a desirable ability, manipulating with dexterity the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. Bars for days. But I think just in general, like there are like things you can like manipulate about your voice, like and how you treat your voice, like warm water kind of thing. So there is like ways but again, that comes into like warming up kind of thing. I think the biggest thing when it comes to voice acting is identifying where like specific parts of your voice, what sounds they make. So for example, like more nasally, you kind of you're understanding like your nasal capacity, things more from the throat kind of thing, like sort of like a warrior-ish kind of voice. So you've really, when you manipulate your tone and understanding where different parts of the body make different, like parts of the voice make different sounds, and kind of mixing that with other techniques, like you can kind of like mix it a bit like this. It sounds like a nasally person yawning or something like that. So when you kind of manipulate it and mix it up and just play around with your voice a bit more, you'll find like a distinct voice identity, and you'll be able to like you'll be able to try all sorts of different roles. And even for singing as well, it applies to that as well. Just getting your voice, acknowledging what different parts of the voice do what and how it makes you sound. That's kind of that's your kind of trump card, is like acknowledging where your voice is, where different parts of the body like manipulate certain pieces of your voice, and even like from like the diaphragm and how you're kind of supporting your chest is a big one. So yeah, just in general, seeing where your different voice lies, where different like nuggets of it acknowledge. So you know what I mean. So just figuring out your voice and trying to kind of like work around it, I think is a big one. So many people asking the same question: what's your favorite Thomas character? So yeah, StationMasterJoe, favorite Thomas character. I've mentioned Edward and James. They are big ones. They are my two favorite and probably always will be. Which is your favorite series of Thomas and Tank Engine Friends? Season 3. Definitely. Season 3 has always been my favorite. Just aesthetics, stories. It's such a cozy season, and it just makes me, it brings back all those childhood memories, like even just little things like how how it's saturated, the distinct locations / sets that they did. It's such a comfort season for me, and it will always be my favorite. Which is your favorite Thomas film? Probably fan films don't count, by the way. Otherwise, it'd be Arcane Merchant all the way. But I'd probably say Legend of the Lost Treasure. Probably either that or King of the Railway. I've just really enjoyed like those two specifically. I think that era for Thomas specials was amazing. Like Hero of the Rails is another big one. I think Hero of the Rails is it's just, considering that was made by freaking Sharon Miller, some of the writing's not the best, but I think the story itself and Hero as a character and the voice performance from Hero is incredible. I love just, there's just so much weight behind it, and it could be, it's a good story with the makings of an incredible story, but I still love it for that. I still love like the potential that it's somewhat realizing. It's still a solid story. I really like Hero of the Rails. Which is your favorite Thomas song? Ooh, tricky. That's really, really tricky. I have so many. Like Night Train, Rocking on the Railway, Accidents Will Happen. James's Take a Look's Coming Down the Track, Make Way for James, Hooray for James. Really Useful Engine, the Magic Railroad version especially. Yeah, Thomas has so many bangers, man. So many bangers. Yeah. Michael Tabrizi asks, what was your favorite character voice that Trampy did so far? Probably Gordon. I think his Gordon voice is really, really solid, and I think it just suits that natural. It's such a distinct, like, he nails the tone and the arrogance of the character, I feel. So I'd say my favorite character for he voices is Gordon, hands down, for me. The Green B1747 asks, what are your favorite steam/diesel locomotives? I love a lot of American ones, like the Big Boy, the Erie Triplex locomotive. I love a lot of the American ones. I think the size and just the design, how intricate the designs are of them, is so cool. I'd say in terms of the British ones, the A4, the Coronation class, the J50s. I love their like side tanks. It just makes them look so quirky. Obviously the E2, Thomas's basis. Ginties. I love Ginties. Diesel locomotives. Don't really have one. I love the I'll tell you what, I really love the class like 13 like dummy designs with like, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, like with the class 08 at the back and then a dummy class, like basically a class 08 but without the cab. I really love that design. In terms of other stuff, yeah, no. Obviously the A3, big one, Flying Scotsman, King class, Hall class. I remember I went to see, there was a Hall class. Actually, no, it was a King class. Round there, there was a King class when I went to Swindon, and it was so cool just walking in and seeing the size of it, and I loved it. I really loved it. And so yeah, that is all the questions as far as I know. Let me know if you have any more questions. I'll be willing to answer them in the comments. But honestly, thank you guys so much for 3.5k subs. It means so much to me that you guys are still supporting my content even during times when it's become a bit stagnant and very busy for me personally. But you guys have always been here, and I still appreciate every single one of you. So honestly, thank you guys so much for your support, and here's to getting to 4k subs. This is Lau speaking. I'll see you guys next time.